Okay, you can all hear me all right? Good. So, good morning, good morning. My thought for you that I'm just going to sort of leave for you is a number of years ago, and it wasn't that many years ago, but it was definitely a little while ago. I was reading something on the Dalai Lama and his response to protests that were being done by Tibetans in China. And what they were doing was self-immolating. So literally they were setting themselves on fire in a sort of way of being nonviolent protests. They were setting themselves on fire. And of course they were dying. And the Dalai Lama was asked, what do you think about this? And what do you do? Because, you're a moral authority for these people. So why aren't you stopping them? Why aren't you saying no? And his response was essentially, and again, I'm paraphrasing, so, don't quote the Dalai Lama through me. But the paraphrased response that I remember is he says, for me to decide if this is right or wrong, he says, there's no way out. He says, if I say something that's positive about it, then the Chinese are going to create more suffering. And if I say something negative about it, then I am telling every one of those individuals who's taken that action and their families, is I'm giving that negative judgment to them, and I increase their suffering. So while on a personal level, he said that he did not feel that it was the best practice or the best way for those people who were suffering to make their cause known. He says, I can't condemn it. I can't, because that also is going to increase suffering, right? And so I'm reminded of this because we are at a time, and we're always at a time, again, we make a big deal about the thing that's in front of us, but we are always at a time where we can look out in the world and we can see an incredible amount of suffering. And we can see it being acted out in 1,000 different ways. And it's really easy to start pointing fingers at who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. And that increases everyone's suffering. So my thought for you is, can you go to the place that the Dalai Lama asks us to go to, which is where you can still act for, wish for, desire peace for every single one of those individuals that's suffering, the ones that are committing the violence, the ones who are reacting to the violence. And then you yourself, who sits wherever you are in your life, and you experience this, maybe as something outside of you, maybe as something inside of you. But can you look to yourself and not go to that place of judgment that says there's something in me that's good and there's something in me that's bad? And can you just go to that really human place that says we're all suffering? And I didn't expect to cry like this. So, that's touching my own humanness, right? And this is the best that we can do as yogis, as practitioners. This is the best that we can do, is we can have our reactions on the outside. We can do whatever it is that we feel we need to do in the world to improve things and make things better. And the big emotions is we have to have them have a voice. They have to have it. And that's not enough, right? Because what changes things is when we go to that place inside that is looking at the root of how am I responding to the world because of these emotions, right? So I started out this week talking about anger because that's been my primary response to a lot of things in my life. It's the primary response. And when you go into an emotion like that and you start to look at not just labeling it as something that happens, but you look at how it's wound into every one of your thoughts, how it's wound into your day-to-day experience, you start to realize how much we are living from that place that is emotional reaction, and not so much that we're living from a place of really seeing what's in front of us, right? So what I've been suggesting, or what I've been practicing myself, is looking for all the ways that there is anger in me, or where there is that drive to suffer, where there is that drive to create situations that are my own suffering, right? And that is something that we end up sharing with each other when we don't realize that it's living in us, right? That's what we do. So can you take whatever your reactions are to the suffering in the world, the anger, the sadness, the grief, the fear, the whatever it is, can you take it and can you follow it all the way back in to the roots that are in you? Because it's not about what's happening outside, right? It's about this. It's about how internally we are continuing to generate this suffering for ourselves. And then we share it with each other. And then when they react to it, we start pointing fingers and saying, you're doing it right, you're doing it wrong. right? And then we hope that maybe we point back to ourselves and say, well, maybe I'm doing a better job than somebody else. Nobody's doing a better job, right? Nobody is. Because we refuse to go to that place where we look for the root of our own suffering. We look to the root of what suffering is itself. So can you do that? Instead of looking at outside and saying that this is the right way or this is the wrong way, can you go deep in and say, here are the roots of suffering that exist in me? This is where my anger works its way into my everyday life. This is where my sadness affects the way that I respond to the world. This is where I am creating these experiences of violence, and I never label them as that, right? And I use that word very, very specifically, because in yoga, this is what everything sort of boils down to, is that all of these emotions, when they are not understood, is that it doesn't matter what it looks like out in the world, is it will become violence, right? It'll be violent behavior towards yourself, or it will be violent behavior towards someone else, but it will become violence. So understanding those deep roots of your own emotions and knowing that it's not just in an instant that they happen, that they are happening all the time. And can you weave into them that experience of still, can you weave into them that experience of still being able to hold the goodness or the humanness or the expansiveness of yourself or someone else when that emotion is so high, or when you can see that it's driving suffering, right? So can we come back to the place of the Dalai Lama that says, I'm not going to label what I see as good or bad, because to do so is going to increase the suffering. Instead, can I go deep to the source of the suffering, and can I look at it? Can I really look at it and see that I'm in it too? It might look like the event is happening to someone else, but I'm in it too. And if that's the best you can do, that's really good. That's what this practice is. Don't separate yourself from what's happening to someone else. Go deep into your own experience to know that you are in this suffering too. So what can you do with it? This is where we make peace. We make peace in us at those roots of suffering. And then we start sharing that back with the world. So comfortable seat if you're not there already. Again, I did not intend to cry at you. Happens. And I will remind you in the second part of my Dharma is that don't forget, today is my daughter's birthday. She's 2 years old. And so alongside that desire to realize that I can't give her the world that I wish that I could give her, is that we have the opportunity to celebrate. Because when we weave those emotions of suffering into the emotions of hope, and we weave them into the emotions of love, and we weave them into the emotions of grace, then we start to see the whole picture, right? And in that whole picture is where we experience actual peace, because we're not running from one thing to another, and we're not being driven by one piece or another, right? So eyes closed. And I want you to choose, again, whatever your favorite trigger is, whatever your favorite emotion is that tends to drive you. And I want you to look at it. I want you to see it as something, a persona maybe, that lives on its own entity. And I want you to feel it sitting next to you or across from you or somewhere close. And whatever this emotion is, I want you to breathe in with it and breathe out with it. Don't pretend for a second that it's not with you every instant of your life. It doesn't just happen and then disappear. Can you start to follow it, whatever the emotion is, that it's holding hands with you your entire practice. It's holding hands with you your entire life. And it's holding hands with you not to hold you back. It's holding hands with you to try to guide you forward. But there is no forward if you don't know what works in the back of your mind, what works in the root of your mind. I want you to breathe in deep the emotion that is your biggest trigger. And if you have many, just pick one. But breathe it in with no attempt to judge it. And realize how much that emotion colors the way that you look out at the world. It's a practice, Tonglen, that says that you breathe in what you find to be the greatest challenge, the greatest source of suffering. You breathe it in. You don't try to put it away from yourself. You breathe it in. Feel the full experience of it beyond what the moment is. Feel the full extent of it. And what you breathe out is what rises up to balance that emotion. It's the positive desire that emotion brings out. The emotion never disappears, but it becomes harmonized. It becomes balanced. It happens because you breathe it in. You don't run away. So breathe in your greatest challenge. And breathe out the desire that for you and for everyone else who is suffering from that challenge, that they find peace. And take one more breath, breathing in deep into the root of you. And breathing out whatever solution is rising up. And it won't be a perfect one, but breathe it out anyway. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Rub your hands. Practice not condemning another human being for anything that they say or do. It's a big practice. Bring the hands steady at the heart center. Not condemn yourself for whatever it is that works through your mind. It's a big practice. Begin with the sound of Om, deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. And then go ahead, take your hands to your knees or your thighs. Just start to cat-cow your spine. So inhaling, lifting the heart up, exhaling, curling in. Good. Lovely if you continue to remember whatever your chosen buddy emotion is, to keep it with you the entire practice, to let it be something that sits in your mind that you can continue to understand at deeper and deeper levels. Good, because by the time we get to the reaction where the emotion is big enough that we label it, it's already been building in us for a really long time. It's already been active for a really long time. So reaction is always the end point, not the beginning. Good, maybe add a little bit of torso spirals into that cat-cow. So inhaling, bringing the torso forward, and exhaling, curling in and rounding as you circle your torso. Good. Or maybe just stay with the cat-cow. Nice. So we solve nothing from reaction. We have to go to the roots, and the roots happen far before the reaction ever does. Go the other way, please. If you're circling the torso, move the other direction. If you're staying with cat-cow, stay with cat-cow. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. Inhale the arms up alongside your ears, reach. Interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands straight up towards the sky, so push up. Good, long inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the hands forward, straight out from the chest, round your back. So push back into your rib cage and push out through your hands. Good, and then drop your chin just a little bit, but pull up through the back of your throat like a mama cat pulling up. Good. And then inhale the arms all the way up to the sky, lengthen your spine, still with the fingers interlaced. And again, exhaling, rounding in, pushing the hands straight out from the chest, rounding into your back. Good. And pulling up through the back of your throat, through the scruff of your neck. Good. And then inhale the arms up, still with the hands clasped if you can. One more time, exhale, bring the hands forward, extend out, push out. Dropping the chin towards your chest, pull up through the back of your throat. Good. And then come all the way back up, inhaling the arms to the sky, and then releasing the hands out and down. They call this fanning the aura in Kundalini. Good, moving yourself through your own energy. Nice, you guys. And then roll forward onto hands and knees. Good, spread your fingers wide, please. Tuck the toes, come back downward facing dog. Good, bend your knees, please. Come high on the balls of your feet as your knees bend, so lift those heels, then drop your butt towards your heels even more. Good. And then scoop your belly, pull your thighs back like you're almost just hovering above the floor with your knees. Yeah, so drop your butt low, 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 whoever's in next to Lauren. Good. Nice, you guys. Lift up through the back of your throat. That's it. And then press the hips high to the sky, still on the tippy toes of your feet. Pull up, pull up, pull up. And then release the feet down towards the floor. Nice. Walk your feet forward towards your hands. Come to the top of your mat. Good. Pressing the feet down into the floor, please. Bend your knees, drop your sit bones low. Take the arms up alongside your ears, chair pose. Good. Draw the low belly in. Send your butt back even more. Let your weight fall towards your heels. That's it. And then come all the way up to stand, inhaling the breath, taking the spine super long. And then exhale, release hands down to the floor, forward fold. Good. Inhale, lengthen, come up onto your fingertips, extend your spine. And then exhale, bow deeply again, dropping the forehead towards your shins. Right leg steps back behind you, please. Good. Drop that back knee. Use a blanket if you'd like. Inhale the arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Rising up from your pelvis. Draw the navel and squeeze the legs together. Pull up, pull up, pull up. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, step back, plank pose, upward push up. Nice. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need, to your belly. Yep, we're doing sun salutes. Inhale, head, neck, and chest. Rise up, cobra, point the toes. Good. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Good. You're doing all of my daughter's favorite poses today, just so you know. Right foot steps forward, top of your mat. And no, she doesn't know sun salutes yet. Left foot steps forward all the way, standing forward fold. Bow deeply. Good. Inhale, take the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart center, palm to palm. Make that wish for peace, whatever it looks like. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Good. Exhale, bow forward. Nice. Inhale, lengthen, reach out. Exhale, bow deep. Step the left foot back behind you, lunge, drop the back knee. Inhaling the arms up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Again, big, big reach up. Good. And then release the hands to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, step back, plank, inhale. Lower down slow, find your belly. It's your exhale. Rise up, cobra, inhale. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two of my daughter's favorite poses are down dog and up dog. So left foot steps forward between the hands. Sun salutes make sense. Right foot steps forward, top of your mat. Good. Inhale the arms around and up, come to stand. Exhale, hands come together at the heart center, palm to palm. Make that wish for peace. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lengthen, reach out, expand. Exhale, bow deep again. Step the right leg back behind you. Drop the knee, inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. From the deepest part of you, reach up from your pelvis, pull up. Good, release the hands down to the floor. Really nice, Lori. Step back, plank pose. Lower down slow, that's your exhale. Nice, inhale, rise up, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot comes forward to meet it. Standing forward fold, bow deeply, exhale, empty everything. Good, and then inhale, take the arms around and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Whatever your favorite emotion is this practice, make it a wish for peace. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow deeply. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Every breath is a breath for peace. Exhale, bow deep again. Left foot steps back behind you. Drop the back knee. Inhale the arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Squeeze the legs together, but pull up long through your side ribs. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee. Step back plank. Inhale. Lower down to the floor. Exhale. Good. Rise up. Inhale. Every breath, prayer for peace. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot comes forward to meet it. Standing forward fold. Bow deep. Exhale everything out. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands straight down to the heart center, prayer for peace. Good. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen, reach out. I'm moving you a little faster. Exhale, bow deep. Good. Left leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Reach, reach, reach. And then hands to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back, plank. Inhale. Lower down slow. Exhale. Rise up, cobra. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot comes forward to meet it. Standing forward fold. Exhale everything. Drop the head. Inhale the arms to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart center, prayer for peace. One more round. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Right leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Turn your palms forward, please. Bend your elbows wide into cactus arms and feel your chest pulling up, up, up as you do that. Good. And then release the hands to the floor. Lift the back knee. Plank pose. Inhale. Lower down slow. Exhale. Rise up, cobra. Inhale. Point the toes. Strong legs. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. That's your inhale. Left foot comes forward. That's your exhale. Standing forward fold. Bow deep. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart center, prayer for peace. Good. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen, reach out. Exhale, bow deeply again, empty. Left leg steps back behind you, drop the knee, take the arms to the sky. Good. Again, turning the palms forward, bend your elbows wide. Lift the chest as you pull those arms down. Use the power that you have to uplift yourself. Don't get smaller, get bigger. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, step back plank, inhale. Lower down slow, exhale. Good. Rise up, cobra, inhale. Nice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot steps forward alongside. Exhale deeply, standing forward fold. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart center. Prayer for peace. Pause. May all beings everywhere awaken to their innate great perfection. May all beings everywhere experience life's true joys. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering and the root causes of suffering. Together, may we all abide in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, drop back into chair pose, please. Butt goes back, hands to the tops of your thighs, please. Cat-cow your spine. So if you remember in studio classes, Cheryl would end every one of her classes with that. prayer. And since we haven't been doing in-studio classes, I don't think I've heard anyone end with it once. And it makes me wonder, right, when we forget to say the mantras, when we forget to keep putting that in our mind to balance those emotional reactions, what happens? I think the greatest practice we have as yogis is to not forget. Good. Don't forget that whatever is in your mind in this moment is not all that you are. And what is in your mind at this moment didn't begin this moment. Look deeper. Come to stillness, please. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears, chair. Good. And then rise all the way back up to stand, please. Beautiful. Hug your right knee up in towards your chest. Squeeze in. Good. And then take that knee wide to the right, please. Bottom of the foot comes to the inside of your left leg. Tree pose. Good. Stretching the arms up alongside your ears once you've found it. So you're pressing the foot and the leg together. You're pressing the leg into the foot into the leg. So there's equality there, right? And that's what we're looking for, is this sense of I'm not staying in this pose because one part of me is working and the other one just has to put up with it. There's coordination. Good. Let yourself sway a little bit from side to side. So sway on purpose. Don't feel like you're just falling. Sway on purpose. Again, you're doing my daughter's favorite poses. She loves watching the trees in the wind. Makes me open the door so that she can watch the trees. So be an exciting tree swaying in the wind. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. Nice job. Bring that right knee forward, hug it up in towards your chest. Good. And then send it straight back behind you into warrior three. So that leg comes straight back as you bring your torso forward. You can bend your left leg, your standing leg if you need. Good. Stretch the arms straight out alongside the ears. Good. Yeah. And then interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands out beyond the crown of your head. So push out through the arms and push out through your hips. That's it. Deep breath in. Good. And then drop that left leg back behind you. Inhale the arms to the sky. Sorry, it's your right leg back behind you. Step back, high lunge. Good. Deep breath in. And then hands come together at the heart center, please. Prayer twist, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Good. As you turn the belly, kick that back thigh a little higher. Fall back into the back of your heart. Mama cat scruffs the back of your neck. Pull back. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Open, open, open. And then release, inhaling, arms up to the sky, so don't collapse. There you go. And then release the hands down to the floor. So it's just a graceful coming out of that pose. Step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Good. Lower down slow to your belly, finding your way to the floor. Point the toes, rise up, cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And then come back, downward facing dog. Nice. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Taking the legs to straight, bow deeply. Good. And then inhale the arms all the way around and up. Again, fanning the aura, since most of you choose to take the arms that way anyway. Fan the aura that you're actually touching your own energy field. And then exhaling, hands back to the heart center. Prayer for peace. Again, whatever that looks like, sounds like inside of you. Bring the left knee up and towards your chest. Good. Bring the knee wide, coming into tree pose, second side. So the bottom of the foot comes to the inside of the right leg. Good. And again, you're finding that equality of pushing the foot into the leg and drawing the leg into the foot. So it really doesn't matter where the foot is placed on the leg. You still have that sense of drawing in towards the midline. And then arms up alongside your ears. Good. Because I want you to be in your full extension, even if that feels a little bit less stable. And I want you to wobble a little bit on purpose, letting your arms sway from side to side, letting the rib cage move from side to side. Good. Because finding balance is being exactly that. It's being in that wobbly state and feeling what it is to stay still inside of yourself, even though everything is moving. Good. Nice, you guys. And then come back to stillness, please. Practice of yoga is coming back to stillness. Nice. Swing that left knee forward, up, back in towards your chest, or come out, hug in, and then send that left leg back behind you to warrior three. Take the torso forward, arms alongside your ears, reach out. Good. And then you're interlacing your fingers, press heels of the hands out beyond the crown of the head so that you have this sense of really pushing out through your arms. They're not just there in space, but you're pushing out. You're pulling your ribs forward and then pull your hips back. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Don't drop that foot too low. Keep it up. Good, you guys. Step back, high lunge, please. So left leg comes back behind you, arms to the sky. Good. Hands come together at the heart center, please. And prayer twist, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Good. And as you find that hook, right, you're setting the arm against the knee or maybe the hand against the knee and you're pressing. So it's that same sense of equality that I'm pushing my knee into my elbow, I'm drawing my elbow into my knee, and then I'm drawing my shoulder back into the middle of my back so that I can lift from my sternum. I can actually move my rib cage because my arms are in this really stable position. Good. And then come back out, inhaling the arms up to the sky. Again, don't collapse. That's it. And then release the hands back down to the floor. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Nice. Slide forward to plank pose, please. Upward push up. Good. Drop the knees to the floor for a moment. Yeah. So your hips are still a little bit in front of your knees. So don't be on full hands and knees. Move your weight forward a little bit more so the armpits come forward, shoulders come towards the tips of your fingers. And then bend your elbows so that you drop your torso about halfway. So like a little chaturanga push up. And then pause there. Good. And from that position, I want you to start to arch your spine forward. So bring your chest forward. Good. Widen your collarbone. Start to tilt the shoulder blades down and in. So almost like you're doing a little back bend here. Good. And then draw your ribs in. Nice. Now tuck the toes, lift your knees. I know. Good. And then straighten the arms back up to plank. I know. What the hell was that? Downward facing dog. Good. And then slide forward to plank pose again, please. Good. Now in that plank pose, I want you to do almost the same thing. I want you to have a little bend in your elbows. So bend your elbows just a little bit. Good. And then pull the chest forward. Start to arch the spine forward and up, but keep the long length in your legs. So it's like you're coming into upward dog. So start to lift your chest forward and up, forward and up, forward and up. The hips are going to drop a little bit, but pull your low ribs in, and push those inner thighs up, up, up. Good. And then go ahead, straighten the arms and pull that chest forward and up, full upward facing dog, maybe. Good. If your hips don't come to the floor, that's fine. Your toes are still tucked. I want you to stay really engaged in your legs. Nice. And then back to downward facing dog. Please scoop the belly, lift the hips. Good. And then drop the knees to the floor, please. Do a little bit of hip circling. Figure it's okay because the things that my daughter calls up dog is definitely not up dog, but it's what she calls it. And so I never disagree with her at this point. She calls it up dog, it's up dog. So whatever you just did was up dog. Move your pelvis the other way, please. Circle the other way. Good. And this is where we have our challenge, right? We look at the world in our own particular way and we forget that someone else is experiencing the same thing as something that looks very different. But at its core, it's the same. That practice of getting to know your emotions and feeling them as a complete and entire point of view is valuable because it reminds us that what the world looks like when we're just in that one emotion is not the whole world. But if that's what's driving us, we're certainly going to act like the world is a certain way. Come back, rest in child's pose, drop your hips back to your heels. So when we struggle to understand someone else, can we start to identify not the goodness or the badness in them, but what seems to be driving them emotionally? And then can we connect to that in ourselves, that what is the worldview? What is the point of view that that emotion says, that that emotion creates? So we might not agree with what someone else is saying or doing, but we can at least understand. And we hold on to that space where there is not a question of judgment. And instead we can look to what is the root that is creating this reaction? And let's work on that. Because that voice of judgment, what will always happen is eventually it turns on you. Walk your torso to the right. And I say eventually, from the outside it turns on you, but from the inside it's been turned on you from the beginning. So can you start to recognize that, how much judgment it has become a fundamental part of your thinking? One of the suggestions at the beginning of class is we work on the left brain. Well, there you go, that's left brain. The judging, goes in this category. It's right or it's wrong, it's good or it's bad. Walk back to center and go to your left. Going to the roots of suffering. And then reminding ourselves that even that deeply, what the rooted, as deep as those roots are, as the roots are exactly the same place that joy comes from. It's exactly the same place that grace comes from. It's exactly the same place that bliss comes from. Everything positive that you want to see in the world, that you do see in the world, it comes from the same root. Come back to center, please. So you get to the root of one, you get to the root of the other. The promise of the practice. Come back up to hands and knees, please. Good, take your right arm out wide to the right. Slide behind your left wrist, right shoulder finds the floor. Good, and then walk the left arm forward towards straight. Nice, you guys. Every twisting pose is you are looking for that length on your side body, and this is a twisting pose, so we think of it as a shoulder opener, and it is, but it's a twisting pose. So can you get deep into the core of your torso? So the navel draws in, the thighs go back, and then you're pushing into that right shoulder and forearm so that you can lift your left rib cage higher. Good. And then release, come back to center, hands and knees. And go the other way, take the left arm out wide. Slide behind the right wrist, left shoulder finds the floor. Good, taking the right arm forward towards straight. Nice. So a little bit of a lift of that left side low belly because it's going to fall inward in that twist. So keep the left hip wide. Really good, you guys. Good. And even here, like a mama cat at the back of your throat, draw back. Good. And then release the twist, come all the way back out, hands and knees. Nice. Good. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Good. And then go ahead and cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, please, in your down dog. Bend your left knee so that you are dropping your legs almost into a cross-legged chair. Yeah, push your hips back towards your heel. Nice, nice, nice. Good, you guys. One more breath, drawing the belly towards the thighs. Good, butt back. Good, and then start to straighten the legs and take that right leg up and back behind you to down dog split. So uncross the ankle and sweep that leg up and back. Good. And then bend the knee again, kick your heel and stack the right hip on top of the left. Open, open, open. Nice, left low belly continues to pull up and wide. So balance that twist. Yep. Good, and then go ahead and release, step the right foot forward between the hands, lunge. Good, both hands inside the front foot, please. Yep, wrap that right arm around the back of your right foot. So you're snuggling the right shoulder into the knee, slide the hand behind the heel so it comes to the baby toe edge of your foot. Good, and then you're dragging the chest forward, yeah, as you pull the hips back. Beautiful. Long spine. Don't let that back thigh droop. Pull it up. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Good. And then you're squeezing the feet towards each other. Stretch your arms out wide, airplane arms, so that right arm stays underneath your knee, but stretch the arms out. Good. And some of you might go for the bind, where you wrap that right arm around your right thigh and your left hand reaches around your back. Nice, Harriet. Good, Dana. Nice, Jessica. Good job, everybody. Good. Chest forward, pull forward, butt up. Yes. And then go ahead and release the hands down to the floor, please. Nice job. Drop the back knee. Both hands stay inside the front foot. Good. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Drop down to your elbows if you'd like. If you want to let that right knee drop open here, you can. Come onto the baby toe. Good. If you prefer to keep the foot flat, keep it flat. And find your breath. Nice. So we're forever being given images of the wideness of things. So I chose sun salutes partially today also because there is that recognition. They say that the sun shines on everything equally. So we look for that experience of what equanimity is because we use the word. We look for that idea of what peace is, what stillness is, even though we're running through a world that's going too fast. Our mind says, what the hell is that? What am I looking for? So we're given those examples. The sun shines on everything. That's equanimity. The blue sky, no beginning and no end. It's the true essence of yourself. But then it's up to you to understand it as a reality. So can you get beyond that personal perspective? Can you get beyond one emotion so that you can feel that there is that spaciousness that includes everything? No judgment. Walk yourself back in, please. Right foot comes flat to the floor. Good. Just move your hips back so your left hip comes on top of your left knee. Wiggle that right leg forward to straight. Come up on the heel, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. So you can have both hands inside the foot here if you'd like. Good. So that you can take a second in half Hanuman where you turn your right toes in and pull your right butt cheek wide. So you turn that leg in. Let the foot fall in. Pull your butt cheek wide. Good. So again, you're making space there. And then you're scooping your low belly, pulling your hips back in space at the same time. Good. And then start to bring that right hip back and in towards the midline. Your toes are going to start to point up towards the ceiling, but you're still trying to push your inner thighs wide. Good. So you're scooping and drawing that right sit bone under, and then push your inner thighs back. Good. Or push your sit bones back, I should say. Inner thighs wide. Awesome. And then walk yourself forward a little bit more. Again, wherever you are is where you are. Don't wish to be somewhere else. Nice. Good, you guys. Take one more breath deep, bow over that front thigh. Good. And then walking the hands back in just a little bit. Good. Come back to that Anjaneyasana. So bring the right heel in, come back to lunge. Right knee over the right ankle. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. One more breath. And then release the hands back down to the floor. Good job. Lift that back knee, please. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward, plank pose, upward push up. Good. Lower down halfway. So pause. Again, if knees need to be on the floor here, you can, but lower down to that chaturanga. Slide forward towards the tips of your toes. Start to arch that heart up, 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 up as you push out through the legs. Now straighten the arms, upward facing dog. Back of your throat goes back, 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 back. I know your toes are still tucked under because I want your legs awake. Good. So don't drop your belly. Pull in through your ribs. Reach up. There it is. And then navel to spine, come back downward facing dog. Drop the chin towards the chest. Good. Nice, you guys. Left leg, left ankle crosses over top of right thigh. Bend your right knee so you're in down dog with the crossed legs. Bend that right knee, drop your hips back towards your right heel. Good. Now your left hip is going to fall lower than your right here. That's just automatic. So try to lift that left hip a little higher. There you go. And then get more into that right thigh crease. That's the benefit. Yeah, you got it. You're doing it right, Susan. Good. All the Susans. One more breath, butt down towards your heel, drop it lower. That gets into your lower spine. There you go. And then start to straighten that right leg. Please uncross the ankle, take the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good, bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right, and then make sure that that right hip doesn't start to fall outward, that you don't just completely lose the integrity of your pelvis. So keep your right low belly lifted and wide. So again, you're resisting the twist. Good. Beautiful, you guys. And then bring that knee back facing the floor. Step your left foot forward between the hands. Beautiful. Both hands inside the front foot, please. Left shoulder comes to the inside of that left knee. Slide the hand behind your heel. And then again, you're dragging forward. So you can have a little bend in your elbows and you're dragging forward. Good. So the chest pushes forward, but your hips pull back. Nice. The lower down you get, the more effective this is. So get low. Good. And then drag forward and pull your hips back. You got it. And you can just have hands inside the foot here if wrapping the arm doesn't make any sense to you. Just hang out there in lizard. Good. If you have the arm wrapped, go ahead, stretch the arms wide, airplane arms. Left hand stays underneath your left leg. Good. Try to balance your chest. So pull that left butt cheek back and in. Send your right shoulder forward more. Good. And then maybe go for the bind if you'd like, wrapping the arms around the left thigh and the back of the spine. But then you got to turn your chest back down towards the floor. Good. Really good, Mark. Beautiful, you guys. And then unwind the arms, please. Really good, Dana. Nice, Alice. Take the hands to the floor inside the front foot. Good. Drop that back knee. Walk the hands to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Come on down to your forearms. If you'd like to let that left knee drop open, you can do that. Come onto the baby toe of that foot. Just flex the toes strong. Good. So the foot stays really active. So the leg stays really active. Nice, you guys. It's a hard thing to experience something in the world and to have the reaction that you have and think that somehow that's going to be enough, and then to realize that it isn't. It's important to have the external experience. More important, or equally important at least, to get to the roots of what is driving my reaction. Why do I want to do what I want to do? Why do I want to label this as good or that as bad? And where in me am I participating in the roots of what's created this situation? And can I look at that with no judgment, no thinking that anything is my fault or your fault? It's just that it is. And how am I participating? How are my emotions wrapped up in this? It's our practice is that it's not anyone's fault, except that it's everyone's responsibility to create the reality that we're in. The way that you respond to it. So get to your own roots. And then you meet the world in a more peaceful way, and more peace will exist. Bring yourself back in, please. Take that left foot back flat to the floor if it's open, or if the knee is open, bring it back in. Good. And then shift yourself back so that right hip moves back over top of the right knee. Wiggle your left leg forward to straight Ardha Hanumanasana. Both hands again can stay on the inside of the foot if you'd like. Turn the toes in, so your butt goes wide, wide, wide. Good. Pull the inner thigh wide. Nice, you guys. Good. Still walked forward, so your torso is still forward here. And then scoop your belly and start to pull that left butt cheek back and in, so that there's a feeling that your toes start to come back up towards straight, but you're still pushing your inner thighs away from each other, and you're still drawing your groins back, back, back. Good. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Walk yourself a little deeper forward. Yeah. And then walk yourself back in, please. Nice job. Come back to that left foot. So you're coming back to Anjaneyasana. Pull that knee in. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. And again, you're reaching from the deepest parts of you. If you took this pose not as a transition, but a reality unto itself, what does Anjaneyasana mean? It's what we practice. What does it mean to be in the position that I'm in? Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Lift that back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Good. Again, lowering down about halfway, so bend your elbows. Slide forward even more. Start to arch the heart forward and up, but push back through your inner thighs and your heels. Strong legs. And then go ahead, straighten the arms, upward facing dog. Lift that heart super, super high as you lengthen through your legs. So keep your feet anchored to the floor. Heart up, throat up. Mama cat to the back of your neck. Nice, Victoria. And then downward facing dog. Pull everything in from the core of you. Back up, down dog. Nice. And then drop down to your knees, please. Good. And find your way onto your back. So if you need a child's pose in between there, go ahead. But you're finding your way onto your backs. Nice, you guys. Take the right ankle over top of your left thigh, please. Lift that left shin parallel to the floor. Reach for the leg. Reach through for the leg and then squeeze in. So pull the legs in towards your chest. Flex your feet. And allowing the emotions to become to their fullest extent or to find the edges of them in you. To get out of that thinking that you're going to control the emotion. And instead it gets into that space of understanding. Again, left brain, right brain. Good. Release the left leg, please. Reach for your right ankle and then take your right knee wide towards the outer edge of your armpit. Come into half happy baby. Take that left foot back down to the floor. Good. Knee can be bent or leg straight, up to you. Good. If the knee is bent, make sure the knee doesn't fall open. Good. Keep it straight up and down. So you're holding that right ankle with your right hand. So same hand, same foot. You got it. Deep breath in. Beautiful. And then lift the shoulders, please. Wrap that right arm around the calf. So reach up, take that shoulder inside the knee. Like you're going to take that right shoulder, that right knee over your right shoulder. Pull up. My daughter's other favorite things to sing about right now is frogs. You're getting a little variation on what frog could look like. Slowly release and unwind. Hug that knee in towards your chest. Good. And then place it back down to the floor, please. Nice. Left ankle comes on top of right thigh. Right shin comes parallel to the floor. Reach through to hold. Again, reaching through with the intention to draw the legs close to you. Right, we go into those deeper places inside, into the mind, in order to draw the reality that's there closer to our understanding. Not to dissect it. Not to decide that this part of me should stay and this part of me should go, but you go in so that you can just get closer to what's there. So squeeze in. Good. And then slowly release. Good. Bringing the left knee wider towards your armpit, reach for the foot or the ankle. With your left hand, half happy baby, or half frog if you want to call it that. Right foot can be on the floor or leg extended. Good. It's more challenging to have the leg extended, but it might feel good. Nice. And then go ahead and lift the shoulders, bringing that left shoulder inside the left knee, wrapping the arm around the calf if you'd like. Good. And the shoulder might come back to the floor. You might stay lifted where you are. Don't get tight in your neck. Remember that mama cat pulling at the back of your throat. Good. And then slowly release, unwind, squeeze that knee in towards your chest. Bring both knees in, please. Full happy baby, draw the knees wide, reach for the ankles or the feet. There's no one you can look to that can give you the right answer for how to respond to the suffering in your own life or the suffering that's in the world. There is no right way. The Dalai Lama, or the Buddhist path, says that there is a middle way, though. There is a way where I don't have to label someone as good or someone as bad. I don't have to create enemies. So can you practice that? Bring the bottoms of the feet together, drop your heels in towards your groin so you're in Baddha Konasana, but you're not dropping your feet to the floor. Instead, press your low back to the floor, squeeze your knees up and in towards your side ribs. Good. And then push out through your sit bones. That's it. More length in your spine. And then bring the knees all the way together, squeeze. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees, hug. Good. And then release the shoulders back to the floor, please. Shift your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right. Spinal twist. And bring the knees back towards center, please. Move your hips over to the right, drop your knees to the left. Try to keep the knees stacked on top of each other. And the more you keep your knees in line, your hips in line, the more space there is created in your lower back without strain. It might not be the perfect pose, but if you go into it with the desire to create the most peaceful experience, it will be the best pose that is possible. It's your whole experience of the world. Come back to center, please. Good. Squeeze the knees in one more time if you'd like. And then unwind yourself to Shavasana, taking the legs out in front of you, letting the feet drop open, arms alongside you, palms up. And let yourself drop into the space that is held by the sun, where everything is shined on equally. Or the space that is the blue sky, where there's no beginning and there's no end, and everything is included with no judgment. Or fall into the space that is emptiness. In the space that is emptiness, you experience the fullness, because there's no thing, there's just everything. Or just breathe. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Let your body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm, or the lotus mudra, whatever you've been enjoying. And can you practice living in a way where you create no enemies? And where an enemy exists in your mind, can you start to follow the root of that enemy-ness to the base of where it comes from? Understand it so directly and powerfully and completely that you're able to transform that feeling of separateness into unity. Because that's what it means to practice yoga. That's what it means to really embody what it is we say that we do here, to look for equanimity. So can you practice life in a way where there is no enemy? Because if you can do that in you and I can do that in me, then the world we wake up to becomes one where there are fewer enemies. And then peace becomes much easier, much more possible. So keep doing that in you. Follow the emotions, understand them for what they are. Don't just react with them and then run away. Follow them. Realize how much they are embedded in how you interpret and interact in the world. And then go to those spacious places that are beyond that and weave them together, because the roots of joy and sorrow are the same. So you're the one that decides what grows through you, how you respond. But if we can practice where there is no enemy, that's pretty good. Maybe we'll start with that. We'll close the sound of Om, deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a lovely day and go play the way that my daughter would play. So go, hug a tree and stare at some dogs and throw leaves in a pond. Like, do 2-year-old things. I'm gonna unmute you.
Morning. Could
Good
you
morning.
register me in? I didn't get to register.
I'll get you, Laura. No problem.
Thank you. All right. Have a good